Here's the main question is I asked myself not too long ago, and what we started asking our customers, what we started asking everyday Americans that aren't even in Bitcoin is, how do I live a life without inflation? Because listen, the reality is whether you're in Nigeria and Africa, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Manhattan in New York, everyone right now is facing inflation, is facing currency debasement, is facing living a life that gets more expensive for them every single day, no matter how hard they're working. And I myself sat back and asked, how can I live a life without inflation? And can I build software and products and tools to enable others to live a life without inflation? So first, to better understand the problem, we have to understand the dollar and fiat currencies at large. The reality is inflation is caused because the dollar has just gone down over time. Over the last 100 years, the dollar has done nothing really but just go down in value. Now, this isn't generally unknown, but it's super important to appreciate and realize. Another way of putting this is in purchasing power. So this is maybe a more direct graphic, which is how much can my dollar get? How much can my...
Hey everyone, glad you are here. Listen, real quick. This is Jack Mallers. If you don't know who he is the founder and the person in charge of running Strike. Strike is a Bitcoin-only app by Bitcoin. He puts himself living on a Bitcoin-only standard. I'm going to try to start using that and following it, and not 100%, but I'm going to start. You'll see here in a minute. And I'm going to track it, and I'm going to show you all. I'm going to have a spreadsheet and just show people in real world, real time, how we could try to eliminate from being, stuck by the fiat debasement through inflation and money printing. That's the biggest thing. And I hope to eventually get to 100% the same way he is. And I think I'm going to work towards that. And I've been using Strike. I'm already a Strike user, but I buy with it. I have money automatically every couple of weeks, automatically go to it. It's systematic. It's my DCA. I don't even look at it. And then when I accumulate so many sats or so much of my Bitcoin, I move it to my cold storage. But I'm going to try to implement this, and this is awesome. They have basically put a new way so you can pay your bills directly through their app using Bitcoin. And the whole point is, if Bitcoin keeps appreciating over time, technically it's going to cost you less and less to live as you're getting paid in fiat money. You're immediately buying, having to go in, do direct deposit, or however you decide to put money into Strike. And then you let it sit there over time and you pay your bills over time with it. And the theory is if Bitcoin keeps going up, your life is going to get cheaper to live getting out of the fiat system. So he's explaining a couple of things here, and we'll go over this more. But I want you to see this, and this is something I'm going to use, and I want to bring it to you. I think you all should at least try this in some capacity. Start something small. Start with a one credit card bill of a couple $100. Start with a small payment of a bill. I'm going to have this go to paying about $300-400 a month is what I'm initially starting. I'm thinking about $400 a month to start with. I'll pay a couple of bills that are just over $300 to give myself a buffer in the beginning, because there is some volatility. But I think over time, you're going to see how this is going to benefit. And I just hope to bring that to you. And also, there's going to be links below, how to join Strike. Tons of great things. I'll go more into that. But let Jack talk a little bit more. We'll go back and forth. But I think this is going to be great.
Purchase me in goods and services. And all it's done over time is just go down. And that's because you can print as many as you want and it can be debased. Now, another way of putting this is inflation. Is the purchasing power just goes down over time, or inflation just goes up over time. But they're the same thing. So you can use them interchangeably. When people say inflation is up, another way of saying that is the dollar is down. The dollar is getting you less stuff. It's less purchasing power. It's going down in value. And that is the core issue and the core problem. And the reason people's lives are getting more expensive every day, every week, every month, every year is because the dollar is getting less valuable every day, every week, every month, every year. And that is the issue that everyone is facing. Now, this graphic might hit hard, but it's true. What we're looking at is in yellow and blue is the median house price in New York and in Boston, two major cities in the United States of America. Now, in red and in gray is the median household income in those same cities, New York and Boston. And the point is to illustrate everything in our life is going up in price by a lot. Look at those yellow and blue lines. So this is housing inflation. But we're not getting paid more. And that's where it feels painful, is it feels like we're having to work harder. We're having to take on 2 jobs. We're having to work longer just to try and stay afloat and get the same stuff that we had 10 years ago. And this graphic shows exactly that, is people are getting paid around the same, but the price of housing is going up drastically, which we describe as inflation. Another way to think about it is how long does it take for
And I want to go back for a second. Let's go back for a quick second here. He has a big red arrow. I'm surprised he didn't go into it or mention this here when this all happened. Look how close everything was correlated. But the reason why this is so important is what happened during that time. If you go back in history, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard and officially started the fiat experiment. And look what's happened to this fiat experiment ever since that happened. And then, of course, why Bitcoin was created and invented 15 years ago. So that is very important that you need to understand, as this is when the fiat experiment started. Asset prices went up, debasement went down, but income did not follow. And it's getting harder and harder to live as the time goes on and generation goes on, which we are all feeling today.
The price of housing is going house. In 1970, it was about 2.5 years. In 2020, it was 7 years. And this is before COVID and all the inflation that we faced over the last 4 years, which we know in the United States of America was record levels of inflation. So who knows? Maybe this number is 10 years or 20 years at this point. But this is 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x the amount of time that people have to work just to get the same house. And this is the problem. It's living a life that gets more expensive no matter how hard you work. How can we solve?
And if you look at that real quick, I'm going to interrupt here for a second. This is how long it took to save the amount down payment for the average house. He said it took 2.3 years of your life, your labor, to save for the cost of an average home. And now it's about 7 years. And the average home back then only cost 1.5 times to 2 times someone's annual salary. Now we're at 10 to 15 times someone's annual salary. So all this is happening because of the fiat debasement and inflation.
It's living a life that, how can we solve that problem? Now, when I was asking myself this question, obviously I'm reminded that Bitcoin is the opposite of the dollar, actually. If the dollar only goes down over time because people can print more of it and debase it, Bitcoin has only gone up over time because no one can print more of it and no one can debase it. And so if you take the housing idea and you say, well, hold on a second, let's do the same housing inflation exercise, but let's do it in Bitcoin, you realize that housing in Bitcoin actually gets cheaper over time. The price of a house goes down. Maybe the price of a house was 1,000 Bitcoin in 2016, but now it's a couple Bitcoin to get the average American home in all of these major cities. And so it works reversely, right? This graphic is very simple. If you save and operate in US dollars, well, your life is going to get more expensive because the value of those dollars is going to go down. You're going to face inflation. If you operate in Bitcoin, the value of those will go up, and the price of everything in your life conversely will go down and get cheaper over time. Another way to think about it is Bitcoin like a savings account. So I took Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, and if you were to open a savings account there where you collect, interest payments and they pay you to save, you're talking about getting $5, $15, $25 over the last 1, 3, and 5 years on a $50,000 savings account. Now, if you were to live on Strike and on Bitcoin with the same amount of money, you're talking about getting $69,000, $34,000, $600,000 in purchasing power, in price appreciation. Talking about a high yield savings account is a way to think of it, up 140%, 69.5%, and over 1,200%, right? So the question I asked myself in first principles thinking was, wait a second, why would I own any of the money that only goes down, which is the dollar? If you think of it that way and not like, well, I have to go to the grocery store, how am I going to pay for these things? And just think, well, the dollar only goes down, the dollar only gives me inflation, the dollar only makes my life more expensive. Why do I own any of it? It's a good question. And then the second question is, why not only own the money that just goes up, right? If I could, why don't I just own Bitcoin? You know, obviously it can be volatile at times, but with time, it just goes up and is a great way to save and make my life cheaper the more I work and the more I save. So earlier this year, I did exactly that. I got rid of all my dollars. I went all in on Bitcoin, and I really pledged to myself that I was going to figure this out. I was going to solve this for myself and figure it out and build the software to give it to everybody else. So I was not only going to solve my own problem, but I was going to solve everyone in America's problem, which was, how can you have a financial account that's resistant to inflation, that cannot be debased, that makes your life cheaper the more you live and the more you work and the more you save, not more expensive. So I tweeted this out earlier, way earlier in the year. This is on January 3rd. So new year, new me. I got rid of all my dollars. And the media even picked this up, right? And was like, whoa, this guy got rid of all of his dollars. Supposedly he lives on Bitcoin. How is that even possible? Is he lying? Is this real? And so therein lies why we built this product, how we built this product. This product was initially built for me to not only solve my own problem, but to share with the whole country of figuring out inflation and escaping dollar debasement. So how do I use Strike to live on Bitcoin, including our bill pay feature? Here's the 3 breakdowns. 1, I need to be able to receive money, right? 2, I need to be able to pay for things. How do I go to the grocery store? How do I pay rent, right? Whatever that expense is to you. And then 3, what about taxes? Doesn't this complicate taxes? Doesn't taxes make this infeasible? No, that's not the case, but let's walk through it. First, receive. How do I get a paycheck? So in Strike, you can get your direct deposit, you can get your paycheck in Strike and 100% in Bitcoin. So you can go in Strike, set up your direct deposit, my paycheck, I get 100% of my paycheck into Strike, 100% of my paycheck is in Bitcoin, and I have no dollars in Strike, I have no dollars to my name, and I get paid in Bitcoin. If you go in the app, you have an account and routing number, you can create a direct deposit form, you can set this all up, it takes 30 seconds, and that's step 1. Step 2,
and real quick, the app is really, really cool. Do me a favor, if you're liking this video, please give me a like, please give a subscribe. I'm trying to bring value to everybody, and this is something that's really important that's being slept on and not being shown. How Jack only has 11,000 subscribers is beyond me. Please, link I'm going to give to Jack's channel. Subscribe to Jack, see some of his videos. The guy has a lot of great talks. He's really smart about Bitcoin. He gives a lot of great info. He does a weekly Monday in his great big empty closet there, kind of like a Monday live when he talks and answers questions and just goes over things. And do me a favor, also the link below to Strike, use the link. I would really appreciate it. It's my referral link. All it does is that it gives you in your first $500 that you buy of Bitcoin the ability to have no fee. They charge like a 1% fee or 0.98% fee when you buy Bitcoin. But if you set it up on a reoccurring, you can waive that fee and have 0. So that is there, especially if you're going to try to use this or set up a reoccurring DCA. And I get a $500. That's it. You save $5, I save $5. That's all it is. Nothing major, but it'll greatly appreciate it so we can both benefit from this. So let's continue.
and this is where bill pay comes in, is how do I pay for things? And the question really is, am I living on gift cards? Am I only shopping at the grocery store and the coffee shop that's 30 miles away but accepts Bitcoin because they follow me on Twitter? No, not at all.
Now he goes to a whole credit card thing here, and we'll skip this part here for some people. Well, I'll leave a link to watch the whole thing. It's only 20 minutes long if you want to watch the whole thing, to go into his thing, how he uses it. He has a tutorial of how to use the app, and that's what's really important. So let me go back for 1 second here. Something that's very important and how I'm going to be using this is setting this up. But where is that link? Give me a second. It's got to be here somewhere. Where is it? There we go, right here. This is the part that's important. This is the part you need to pay attention to, how I'm going to use it to start paying a couple of smaller bills and have a little bit extra to start slowly building into this here, okay? If you notice, on the left, there's an account number, a bank name, and a routing number. Everyone has their own account number assigned to them. The routing number, a bank thing is common. It's a 9-digit code. So that's, doesn't matter if it's shared. That's not a big deal. Your account number, so it's private to you, and it's Cross River Bank. The thing is, I can go into paying my car insurance, give them this routing number and account number, and say, bill this account every month automatically for my car payment. I can go in and say every month when I set up my payment for a credit card that I want to pay, take the money out of this account, and this is where I'm going to pay off my monthly credit card bill or whatever you want to use, right? So this is where you could use it in real life. You could just set up this account to be the one that automatically comes out and debits. And of course, as long as you have the balance in this account, you can do so. So again, that's why I'm going to start in a smaller amount. And I'm going to track it saying, hey, put in $400, spend a little over $300 plus a month. So there's always a buffer for the fluctuation, but it will build over time. And Bitcoin goes from 100,000 to 110,000. Well, guess what? I just saved 10% on my car insurance. I just saved 10% off my credit card bill, helping me pay down the debt faster in fiat. So, and then as those build faster and my accumulation of the extra builds and the price goes up, I can then increase $4, $5, $6, $1,000 a month going in, plus even higher, where I would be able to eventually live off of this and have the extra. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit for this here to when he talks about how you can live off certain stuff, which I think is important, so we can wrap this up. The link's going to be below for the whole 20-minute. I'm going to do a follow-up where it shows you a walk-by-walk, a walkthrough presentation. I'll also click the link below, but I will make videos of this. I'm going to continue to do this. I'm starting a spreadsheet. My Strike, I just sent all of my Bitcoin to my cold storage, so I can start with 0 and show you from my personal account so we can track this, as well as the spreadsheet, so I can show everyone how this is working and track it and basically, just document how this is going for me in real time, in real world, and also share my trading of Bitcoin and my trading that I'm doing here as well, which I'm going to do in a separate video here momentarily. And also, yes, I have been doing a lot more things political that I feel very strongly about, and I'm going to continue to do it. So please support, like, subscribe to the channel, use the link below for Strike again. So let me finish up what he really goes into, which is a really, really good part of this, so that we can wrap this up today. All right, here's a little something he's going to say he's going to be sharing of the spreadsheet already built in to help you figure out your numbers and your math, but also just how you could live basically a lot less. And just let what he's saying here resonate from the last year. We've seen how much has risen. And yes, we know the 4-year cycle. That may or may not continue. I don't know. But anyway, let him talk to bring this home.
Team and I put together a little spreadsheet just to show you the numbers, because I don't want anyone to believe me, and I want this message to spread no matter the personal preferences or opinions on Bitcoin and the dollar. And so this is just data. This is just math. What this is you can input your own numbers. There's $5,000 biweekly paycheck, assuming that you have $6,000 worth of bills and expenses every single month. Input the taxes and wherever you live, and start date and end date. And what we've realized is that if you did nothing and just sat in dollars, you would have gotten debased. You would have seen inflation. If you put it in like a high yield savings account, which is 3.9%, you're getting high yield savings on your dollars. It would have been better, but marginally. If you would have lived the life on Bitcoin and Strike like me, well, life got close to half off, like I said, right? And so this is an Excel sheet. We're going to build this into a website. I'm also more than happy to open source this and share it to the public, but just so that you can see the data, this is real. And let me show you guys something. So if you take your monthly bills from $6,000 a month to $3,000 a month, you can see, wow, look at that number jump. And what this says to me is increasing your time preference, valuing saving. What if saving actually rewarded you, got you more stuff, got you more housing, got you more groceries, got you more cars, more vacations, more electricity, more energy, more heat, more AC, right? And so this is a financial account that's resistant to inflation, that makes your life better every single day just by working and by saving, and incentivizes you to think in value of your future for the first time in a very, very, very long time. So with that, I will end this presentation.
And that's where the light bulb moment went off for me. Okay, think about it. If your money can now all of a sudden buy you 20% more, 30% more, 50% more than it is today, think about how much better your life would be. Think of how much better you will feel, how much less stress you'll have, how much more you will have to invest in Bitcoin and other things for your financial future. So this here is really powerful, that basically it's going to sell the Bitcoin and pay the bill. I mean, it's very simple. The app's going to take from that account. If you're in Bitcoin only, it's going to sell that fiat dollar amount, leave the rest of the sats in your wallet, and send it off in fiat to whoever you're paying. But to let that extra sit there and grow over time. So again, I'm going to start with an extra buffer, right? I'm not going to put everything in right now. We know Bitcoin's at 100. We know right now we're going to have some volatility. So I'm not going to go that crazy, but I think I'm going to get there. And I'm hoping, my goal is to get there. I would hope worst case to get there in about 12 months. We'll see in about a year where 100% I could try this and have this working with all the extra buffers in there and see how you can live off of that. Because remember, you could turn it on and turn it off anytime you want. Like I said, I already have it going in direct deposit already. What I'm going to do is probably put in 200 bi-monthly bi-monthly into the amount of about $400 a month on average, $4,800 a year. I'm going to be paying, I have a couple bills in mind. I'm going to be paying that's a little over 300 plus. They're going to come directly out of Strike. I'm going to track it all, have it all detailed, itemized on a spreadsheet to show everyone how this is working and how you can start small and work for you. But think about it. My insurance keeps going up. If I can cut my insurance bill by 20, 30%, 50%, 100% over time, just because I'm doing this strategy, if I can cut my bills to my credit card and help me pay them off faster and get rid of my fiat debt even faster, so I have even more money to put to future investments in Bitcoin and everything else for myself and my family's growth and financial future, then I'm going to do that. So that's the point here with it. Again, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you plan on thinking you want to try this. Start it small. Put in $150 a month and pay a $100 bill a month with it. Start small. Keep building, because that $100 bill over time, it's only going to cost you 95 a fiat, 90 a fiat, 80 a fiat, and you're going to keep growing and building. And things do start small. The whole point is you have to have patience. You can get rich slowly. You don't have to go into the 5,000% meme coin, but you'll have some extra money to play with it if you choose to. That's your decision. But my point here is I've been building. Everything's been working. I'm really happy about that. So again, links below. Please use my link for the referral link for Strike. I would love it. Again, you're going to save $5. I'm going to save $5. Nothing major, no huge kind of crazy referral, but hey, let's each give each other $5. It would mean the world to me. Like, subscribes, and comments would mean the world to me to spread this, and I would keep making more of this. I hope you're having a great day. This is Sunday here. I'm getting ready for the new week, and as always, here is to your success.